We finally made it to the hotel and it looks really nice. This is the kitchen that it has, which is good because we're gonna be cooking a couple of our meals. The little stove, coffee maker. There's dishes and stuff, but we brought disposables just in case. And I also brought our own sponge and soap and stuff. This will be perfect for getting ready in the mornings. And then there's an extra couch over here. And then double beds. Another little TV. But look at this. This is the best part. Look how pretty it looks out the window. Oh, so much green everywhere. And they told my husband at the front desk that it's supposed to be really hot, but compared to Arizona, this feels amazing. Oh no. Oh la la. Hachi schmanchi. Okay, no, really cool. I like that. Closet.
When you're brushing your teeth.
Huh?
It says when someone poops and you're brushing your teeth.
I'm gonna leave that in.
Europe, that there's a big infestation.
So there was
There's a big one in Las Vegas right now.
a big bed bug infestation.
And all of the Las Vegas hotels.
Yeah. Okay, let's check each corner though. You have to check each corner of every bed.
I'll check our bed too.
I got it on your own.
Look at this.
I choose this bed. We just dropped off all the stuff at our hotel room and now we're headed over to Monty's because we're starving. Plus it's already closer to dinner time.
That woman.
Let's see how many cool plants we can find on the way to Monty's, which we shouldn't be too far away.
Now make us.
Even if I don't find any tropical plants, look how much green stuff is here.
Wake up.
Oh my gosh, just surrounding the stores, it looks beautiful. We're at Monty's now, but it's kind of packed, so I feel a little bit nervous filming in here. Here's what I got this time around. And this one. So this is the spicy chicken sandwich. Well, let me try it on its own first. It's not spicy. It's not spicy, but it's good. This is the dog pile. So it has patty and French fries, sauces. Not so good. These are the animal style. You want to try these? So cool. Is that the dog pile? Oh wow. looks like I've been crying. That's just because I didn't want to wake up. I'm so tired this morning. We woke up at like 4:50. But it took me forever to go to sleep last night because it felt uncomfortable. I was gonna curl my hair for the first day of Disney, but the high is supposed to be, I think, like 91 degrees. So I decided to curl it instead because that way I wouldn't use heat on it. And then if it gets all puffy, I won't feel bad because at least I didn't damage my hair. So I did some heatless curls. And before I take them out, I'm gonna get started on my makeup. While I get ready for the first day of Disney, I'm gonna tell you how I got hurt. The morning of had been pretty normal. I was running a couple errands, so I was a little bit in a rush. But when I got back home, I made lunch and everything seemed to be going good. Like everybody had eaten. I had finally gotten time to like relax a little bit, and then I was about to go start working at the computer. But before I started working, I decided to make one of my kids some chocolate milk. So I opened up the top cabinets in the kitchen, which I can reach, but I just have to, sometimes if things are more in the back, just stretch a little bit in order to actually get to them. And that's what I did. I was trying to reach for a cup in the back, and I have a bunch of glass jars. My husband always tells me that I hoard them, but I tell him, no, I don't hoard them. I'm gonna use them for something, and usually I do. But over like the last few months, I have collected a ton of pasta jars, mayo jars, and just basically any glass jar I keep because I don't know why. I always think like, well, it's because it's made out of glass and I can use it for something. So as I was trying to reach for one of the cups, another one slipped and fell. And as it fell, it must have broken, but I honestly do not remember even hearing it break. And when that happened, I didn't even think about it. Stupidly, my first instinct, so I was reaching forward, and then as soon as it fell, my first instinct was to lean forward to try and catch the glass. Why? I don't know. I still feel angry with myself whenever I think about it. I didn't hear when it broke. Maybe it broke as I leaned forward. I have no idea. I only heard the shattering when I moved back, and then the rest of the glass fell. But it fell like this, and literally like I looked, and all of a sudden my whole arm was covered in warmth, and there was, of course, like, you know, lead just going all down my arm. And I feel like it took me a few seconds to really realize what was going on because I was like in shock, and all of a sudden I look over and I can see inside of my wrist. Next thing I know, I have my other hand like pressing on it to try and keep it together, and like blood is gushing out, and I'm just screaming. The only thing I can think of is just my husband's name, where I'm just screaming his name over and over again. And at this point, he was working, he was in the office, and he ran out and he was like, Star, what's going? And then all of a sudden he looked at me and he was like, oh my God. And then I think I must have told him like, I hurt myself. And he was like, how bad is it? And I literally just released a little bit of pressure, and like there's a big old gash right there. From that point on, I just remember just freaking out, and like the room started spinning, and the whole time I'm just holding on to it and I'm sobbing. My husband's trying to keep the kids calm and asking them, just telling them not to look, and he's very quickly getting everybody in the car. Next thing I know, he has my shoes on, he has like everything together, and we're on our way to an emergency hospital so that they can help me out. But I remember at one point when he went over, he somehow touched my hand and he got cut because there was like glass all over me. On the way to the little emergency hospital, he was like calling my mother-in-law so she could come help with the kids. My mother-in-law immediately was on her way, and then he called my sister, and immediately she was running errands and she started heading over to the emergency hospital. When you go to the hospital, you have to check in, right? And they take you into the little room where they ask you and they take your vitals and stuff. But they just had me go in right away so that they could just put pressure on it and bandage it up. In order to do that, I had to take my hand off, and when I did that, I just remember how much it burned and it hurt so bad. And as the nurse was wrapping it, my wrist was just on fire. But the moment I removed my hand like this, it was like gel. The blood had thickened so much that it felt like gel, like strands just going like this. Once I got called back, they were going to unwrap it again to see which room I needed to go to, because the next nurse didn't know how bad the cut was. But before she unwrapped it, thankfully she asked the first nurse that had wrapped it, and he said like, no, yeah, she's definitely going to need to go to see somebody else. So she didn't unwrap it, thank God, because in total they unwrapped it I think 3 times, and every single time the pain felt unbearable. To the first doctor, she unwrapped it to take a look at it, and I remember just the whole time I could not look at it because I knew that if I did I was going to pass out, because I can already feel the pain and I did not want to see the inside of my wrist anymore. So I was there with my eyes closed and she was unwrapping it, and I was just trying my best to just handle the pain. And then I asked her, does it look really, really bad? And she stayed quiet for a little bit, and then she said, it looks scary if you're not used to it, but don't worry, we're gonna help you out. I'm just gonna wrap it back up. She's like, it just looks scary, so if you can't look at it, I completely understand. So she wrapped me back up, and then I got sent in for x-rays to make sure there was no glass shards in there, and they said that they hadn't found any glass in there. And the good thing was that there was no like ripped tendons, but I was most definitely gonna need stitches. So they started prepping all their stuff, and the whole time I'm like freaking out. I was just terrified. I was so terrified. So the whole time that I was getting the stitches done, I did not look once. I had to look away and I just had my eyes closed. My husband and my sister were talking to the doctor that was doing the stitches to just try and keep things lighthearted so I wouldn't be freaking out. They were talking about like Grey's Anatomy. I think I asked some questions too about like Grey's Anatomy. I did, didn't I? I asked them if like he watches Grey's Anatomy. I asked him if he watched Grey's Anatomy and The Good Doctor, and if that's what he thought about them. He was like, no, actually, I don't really tend to watch doctor shows. I think when you do it every single day, like you are a doctor, you don't really want to go home and just keep watching more about what you do when you already do it. Does that make sense? In total, I got 6 stitches, and when he was talking to us, and I explained to him the whole glass story again, he said it looked pretty bad, but he said that he had seen worse. And in my head I was like, worse? Oh my God, I cannot even picture it. So he gave us an example. He said one time a guy went in because a window pane fell on him and basically sliced off almost all his arm. Like his whole bicep was gone, and his arm was basically just like hanging on for dear life. And he said that one was really tough to look at and really tough to try and like help with. And at that point I felt super lucky that it was just my wrist. They numbed the area and everything, and when I got home I still had like shiny pieces of glass everywhere, like little pieces all over my arms. And yeah, I got 6 stitches, and yesterday I got them taken out finally. But when I went to urgent care to get the stitches removed, because you're supposed to get them removed within a certain time, and I didn't get the dissolvable ones. You're supposed to get them removed so that it can heal properly, and it was starting to like itch really, really bad. So I got them removed, but that made it sort of like not open up to where it's bleeding, but if the skin was like this, it made it go like this again. So anyways, moral of the story is, do not catch any falling glass, no matter how priceless you think it is. Do not catch it. Okay, bye. We're heading over to Disney now, and I'm gonna eat my artisan bread with pesto. We should get there before the park opens.
I mean, we're gonna get there before it opens, but by the time we get through everything, I don't know. Guys, this is vlog. You recording me?
You look so cute. I want to show you what your hair looks like because it looks so nice. Look, oogie boogie. Dun, dun, dun. I want to show you these roses. They're one of my favorite things about Disney because they look so pretty. Look how gorgeous they are. They're climbing roses, and look at the clusters. In previous years, they were not this full. Oh my gosh, look how gorgeous they look. We're about to go inside right now, but there's so much humidity. I'm glad I didn't straighten my hair because the curls are all gone and everything's just really, really frizzy. I know. Every time we come, we have to collect pennies.
Okay, so just meet us in advance.
Let me see.
Okay, bye.
And now we're going to play white.
Although we had 5 days to get on all the rides that we wanted to at Disneyland, my husband had a plan because he's a very organized person. I'm not very organized, and I'm also not very like direction oriented, and because the park is so large, I would immediately get lost. But he's the complete opposite. He's so organized that he created an itinerary. He looked at the maps. He made sure that he knew which rides were going to be closed down and which ones were going to be open, so that we could have a list of which rides we wanted to get on in order of how long the wait times usually are and where in the park they're located. And for the very first day, we really just wanted to focus on family-friendly rides that everybody could get on, because I have 3 gremlins and we wanted to make sure that all 3 of them could get on all the rides. So that's exactly what we did. And I wanted to vlog a lot more than I actually did, but I also wanted to be in the moment because it was our very first day there. So I took little snippets here and there, and I told myself that the following day I would try and record a lot more. But in this case, I just wanted to make sure that I recorded them more than anything else. So I'm only showing you the snippets that I recorded of myself. But for the most part, the first day was pretty good. It was definitely kind of tiring because I feel like the first day always is. We're not used to walking so much, and we're also trying to get the hang of what the weather is going to be like, when is a good time to eat lunch, when is a good time to eat snacks, all kinds of stuff like that. Getting on the rides was so much fun because my gremlins have been coming since they were very, very small. So seeing their facial expressions and how they react to certain rides and how excited they get about them made me feel so happy, because I feel like I've seen them grow up, you know, throughout the years going to Disneyland, which is something that I never got to do as a kid, so it definitely warmed my heart. After spending all day at the park, we were exhausted. My gremlins fell asleep for a while. Our feet were really hurting, but we didn't want to leave yet until we saw the Halloween special light show. So we sat down on the sidewalk for a while and just waited while we rested, and eventually it came on and it was beautiful. I loved the fireworks, the songs, just how lit up everything was. It was stunning. And for me, all these moments are really special, and I feel really lucky getting to experience them with my family, because as a kid, I could have never imagined being able to have vacations like these or memories like these. And Halloween is one of my favorite holidays because I love dressing up. I've never really decorated for Halloween. I feel like I need to do that over the next few years, but as a kid, it wasn't a holiday that we celebrated at all. Even at school, if there was any sort of Halloween themed celebrations or parades, I would have to stay home. I think there was only one time where I got to go to school when there was a Halloween celebration going on, and all the kids were doing a parade where they dressed up in costumes. And I remember vividly to this day that there was a girl whose mom made her this beautiful gown, the kind that kind of looks like Bridgerton, where the dresses are really poofy, and her mom had like hand sewn everything, and she had a little beautiful hat on and everything. I was obsessed and in awe seeing everybody dress up, and that was probably the only time I really got to experience Halloween, because back at home on Halloween day, we would have to go to sleep super early before the sun went down. We would have to turn off all the lights, and we weren't allowed to make a sound so that no trick-or-treaters came to our house. And so back then it was a holiday that I dreaded but wanted to celebrate so badly. And it wasn't until I became an adult that I was able to decide for myself. And now it's one of my favorite holidays because I love the decor, I love the music, I love the whole concept of just being able to dress up and give out candy and go trick-or-treating. And so for that reason, I especially loved this particular show. And memories like these are so near and dear to my heart because as a kid, I could only ever dream of experiencing something like this. And now that we're actually here, it feels unreal. Once the fireworks show was over, we started heading back to the tram so we could get back to our hotel at a somewhat reasonable hour, because tomorrow we're going to wake up super early to do it all over again. So I'll see you then.